Hello everyone, and welcome to my BNB For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Luna sat in the faint lamplight, the narrow prison cell's thin glare casting long shadows across the floor. Her breath came slow and steady. For weeks she had paced, planned, and watched every guard's rotation, memorizing the timing of footsteps beyond the bars. The walls had whispered to her, the bars themselves had secrets. Every dropped key ring, every distracted guard, every shift change had lodged itself in her mind as pieces of the escape she had been crafting. The baby growing inside her, hidden from most, dismissed by many, had given her new desperation, new focus. She would not spend her life behind steel and concrete, and she would not leave her unborn child to a world that had betrayed her. Finally, the night came. A distant thunderstorm rattled the windows, thunder masking the faint creaks and groans of unlocked doors. With a tension born of trauma and clarity, she slipped out of her cell, pried a lock open with a stolen hairpin, and forced open a panel behind the wall that led into an old, disused corridor. Every footfall was measured, every heartbeat was a drum of danger. She slid past cameras, bypassed alarms, or so she thought, and burst out into the moonlit yard. Security lights flickered, shouts rose in alarm. But by then, she was already gone, over the fence, through scrubland, into the night. Free. Yet escape was only the beginning. Luna's mind was a tinderbox of grudges, betrayals, and pain. She had been broken, humiliated, and abandoned. The world owed her reckoning. Her enemies knew to fear her, but she would make sure they understood exactly who she blamed first. In those first frantic hours of freedom, Luna's pulse hammered as she contemplated who must pay. She thought of that one person, above all others, whose betrayal cut deepest, the one whose hands had pushed her behind bars, whose whispers had turned allies, whose lies had severed her ties to love and hope. She replayed every moment they had shared, every whispered promise, every hurtful omission, until the rage solidified into a mission. Whoever had cast her into darkness would feel her wrath first. She drove across the city in a borrowed car, headlights slicing through rain. She had tracked movements, monitored routines, she knew where they ate, where they slept, how they left their house in the mornings. The memory of their face haunted her dreams, gentle once, now cold, familiar once, now deadly. She parked 2 blocks from their home, wrapped in a long coat, masked by night. The moment she stepped into the doorway of that house, her heart jolted. The corridor was dark, the air heavy, the silence sudden. She crept forward, every nerve alive. And then she saw them, standing in the living room, startled to see her. The face she had glimpsed so many times, now directly before her. Luna? The voice trembled. She felt the sharp intake of breath, the momentary stunned fear. Luna looked at them, eyes blazing, lips tight. Her vengeance was about to begin. She lunged, pushing past shock, and confronted them. There was no hesitation. The first person she struck, the person she held responsible for twisting her world upside down, was Steffi Forrester. In Luna's mind, Steffi represented everything she lost. The love of Finn, the respect she had craved, the security she believed might have been hers, all had been undermined by Steffi's interference. Luna believed Steffi had schemed behind the scenes, to usurp her place, to manipulate Finn's affections, to distort what she felt was rightfully hers. In Luna's venomous reinterpretation, Steffi had become the emblem of betrayal, the one who destroyed Luna's illusions, who separated family bonds, who stood in the way between Luna and Finn, who pulled strings to diminish her. So in that dark living room, Luna confronted Steffi. She raised her voice, fierce and trembling. Words she had stowed away all those months poured out, accusations of deceit, of cruelty, of refusing to let Luna have a life, of standing between mother and child, of every slight real or imagined. She demanded answers, confessed hurt, cried rage. She pulled at Steffi, pushed her, shook her. The confrontation became physical, body against body, desperation against defense. Steffi tried to block her, plead, deflect, but Luna would not be silenced. In that moment, Luna struck her first blow, a punch, a shove, a twist, no matter the specifics. The first step of her revenge was born. And within Luna's rushing pulse, she felt something like satisfaction, the knowledge that her tormentor had felt fear, had seen her face unmasked, had understood that Luna still lived, not as a broken victim, but as a force to be reckoned with. But even in that moment of vindication, Luna realized her war was just beginning. Steffi was only the first. She would have to face Will, Bill, Electra, Finn, Poppy, the world, all those who manipulated her, used her, discarded her. The night echoed with Steffi's cries, with broken furniture, with Luna's whispered vow. You took everything. Now I'll take back what's mine. And as she left that house into the stormy darkness, the first name had been struck. In the days to come, retribution would unfold, painful, messy, irrevocable, but Luna's first blow had landed. Luna stood just outside the threshold of Steffi's home, panting, the storm finally spilling over, rain hammering the roof, making the windows rattle. Her hands trembled, not from cold, but from something raw inside, something that said this was only the beginning. She watched Steffi retreat into a trembling spiral of shock and fear. Luna felt no remorse. What she felt was something she had buried so long ago, power. Lightning flashed, momentarily turning the living room into a silhouette play of shattered intentions. She saw the expensive furnishings, the portraits on the wall, Steffi's trophies of social success, pictures of family dinners, events with Finn, with the Forresters, with Ridge. Luna's eyes caught on one, Steffi's face smiling at Finn, Luna's rival unabashedly beautiful, woman beloved, accepted. Luna's chest tightened, that image, that moment, that betrayal, real or perceived, had become her fuel. She stepped back from the door, breathing in the smell of wet wood, ozone, fear. Then she vanished into the shadows. No sirens yet. No pursuit. The city slept, or pretended to. Luna merged with the rain, the darkness. She had done it, she had struck first, and though it wasn't enough, for no revenge ever is, it tasted of something like triumph. Over the next hours, Luna didn't go home. She didn't go anywhere she knew she could be followed. Instead, she stayed in her car, parked in a hidden spot, facing out toward the main road. She had a flask of cold coffee, some sandwiches she had barely touched. She replayed the scene in her head, the way Steffi's eyes had widened, the way her voice had cracked, the way that elegant frame, Steffi's, had lurched backward. Luna wondered, had she expected this? Did she see it coming? Or was she shocked, too, to find Luna standing in her living room, raw, desperate? She realized revenge is not clean. It is jagged, messy, haunted by your own needs. Because in striking Steffi, Luna had struck at more than a person. She had struck at years of hopes. She had struck at her own reflection, what she thought she could be, what she believed she deserved. That punch, that confrontation, it was also an act of confession. Luna admitted to herself that she was not going to be silent anymore, that she would take control, at whatever cost. Morning came, sullen and gray. Luna watched the sunrise from a vantage point high above the city, on a hill overlooking the streets. The wind tugged at her coat. She wrapped it tighter. Below, early traffic dripped in. Delivery vans, buses, people going to work. The city unknowing. But Luna's mind was racing. She needed allies. She needed information. And she needed a plan. Because in her moment of first revenge, she'd also made herself a target. There would be consequences. Steffi would tell someone. Finn would be angry. The Forresters, Ridge, Taylor, each with their own loyalties, would react. Luna knew she had awakened something she couldn't then turn off. So she began mapping her path forward, who had wronged her, who might yet betray her, who might yet cross her. But she would move carefully. Vengeance exacts tolls. The more furious the blow, the more the backlash. Back at Steffi's home, inside the polished rooms, things were in chaos. She had locked the door behind Luna mid-confrontation, but Steffi wasn't alone. A maid, startled in a hallway, had called 911. Finn, away on business, had gotten a text, "Are you okay?" Then calls, then impatient voices. Steffi, shaken, was being comforted by Ridge, by Taylor. But her mind kept returning to Luna's face, eyes blazing, trembling with something beyond grief or anger, desperation. She wondered how Luna had gotten in. She wondered what Luna's question had been when she lunged. Had she asked for Finn? For what she believed Finn had taken from her? Or had it been an accusation so raw, so unfiltered, that only violence could follow? Steffi paced her living room. She fingered a broken vase. She felt foolish. She felt guilty. She wished she had been more aware of Luna's pain. But she also felt entitled. This had been her life, her relationship, her place. Luna should not have crossed that line. The betrayal, Steffi thought, was hers. And yet Luna had made it personal. So personal it stung. Luna, in the cold dawn, drove without destination. She ended up at a small motel on the outskirts of town, a place that wouldn't ask questions. She registered under a fake name, nursed her coffee, let the exhaustion come over her. She closed her eyes and saw flashes, prison cell bars behind her, the night she escaped, the confrontation with Steffi, the fear in Steffi's voice. She saw Mom's face, Dad's, if they were still relevant, Finn's, Electra's. She saw Poppy, confused, caught in the middle. Faces she had buried, faces she had tried to forget. And in the center, the one she had struck first. It was too soon for relief. She didn't feel better. She felt raw. She felt alive. And she told herself, this is just the beginning. Over the next few days, Luna moved like a ghost. She avoided her old haunts. She used burner phones. She kept track of rumors. Had anyone seen her? Had someone called the detectives? She planted misinformation. She made small appearances, dropped hints to mutual friends that she was okay, that she had followed through, but also that she had changed irrevocably. Everyone who had ever cared, everyone who had ever hurt, everyone who had ever betrayed, she kept them in her mind like chess pieces. Steffi, in contrast, was under fire. Finn demanded an explanation. Ridge demanded safety. Taylor demanded truth. News of the break-in leaked to the press. Mystery woman forces confrontation at Forrester Mansion, some headline read. Luna was named by one blind-sided reporter who thought she recognized Luna from photos. Photos she had carefully avoided. But Steffi had to respond. Deny. Claim intrusion, claim fear, claim legal action. But inside, she wondered, if Luna had gotten this far, what else could she do? Was this only the tip of the iceberg? Luna's revenge list grew in her mind. Steffi was the first, but next would be Finn, for all the ways she believed he had abandoned her, doubted her, allowed Steffi to outshine her. Then Poppy, for trying to play mediator, for being the person who sometimes stood between Luna and what she thought she could be. Then perhaps even her own heart, because she had loved, she had hoped, and the betrayal, whether real or misinterpreted, had to be acknowledged, handled. One night, as she sat in the dim motel room, journaling, she saw an old photo in a magazine she had taken months ago, Luna with Finn, smiling, perfect light, Steffi in the background, teasing, confident. Luna's hand closed around it until the paper crumpled. She wished she could erase Steffi's presence from that photograph. Not just remove her face, but remove her from the narrative. And as Luna pressed that photo into the trash, she realized, revenge was also about rewriting the story. To take back what she believed was hers. Steffi, meanwhile, had sought counsel. Lawyers, private investigators. She barricaded herself emotionally. She spoke in carefully measured tones in interviews. Luna is unstable, she said. I fear for my safety. She used social media to show solidarity from friends, from community. She posted photos of her children, of the Forrester brand, of family dinners. She tried to reclaim normalcy, fabricated if she must, because Luna's rebellion threatened the facade of peace she had built. Finn, when he finally returned, found Steffi shaken, haunted. They argued. He defended himself, "I didn't set out to betray anyone." Luna had her own ideas, her own expectations. But Finn said Luna had been manipulative too, that Luna had never told him the whole truth, that she had manipulated events in her favor. Luna had been in prison, she had been silenced. His sympathy had shifted under pressure. People's loyalties had shifted. Steffi accused Finn of being weak, Finn accused Steffi of being deceitful. Luna's name was at center. Luna listened. She learned. From afar she watched Finn. She saw him torn, guilt-ridden, defensive. She saw his reluctance to speak Luna's name, or admit Luna's grievances. She saw in his behavior what she had come to believe all along, that he cared more about reputation than truth, more about comfort than courage. Her heart blackened and softened in turns. Because she still loved him. Even now. That love hurt more than anger. When anger faded, love clogged her throat, pressed at her ribs. But she could not let love stop her. It was love that had led her here, but now it must be tempered with vengeance. So Luna's second move, after Steffi, was subtle. She began leaking information, just enough to disturb. Rumors about Finn's business dealings. Whispered tales of betrayal. A text message screenshot here, a blurred photograph there. All traced back to Luna. She didn't claim them openly. But the storms of public opinion began to stir. Criticism of Finn increased. Steffi tried to calm the waters, but the waves kept rising. In her mind, Luna believed that for a wrong to be made right, the person who did the wrong had to lose something they valued. For Steffi, her image; for Finn, his reputation; for the Forresters, their sense of control. Luna wanted people to know that she existed. That she had been wronged. That silence was not an option. Amid that campaign, Luna confronted memories. The nights in prison. The people she thought were friends but were silent. The people she believed had helped, but who abandoned her. She revisited the betrayals one by one, mentally cataloging them. And she realized something necessary: revenge without justice is hollow. If she unleashed chaos, she might destroy herself more than anyone else. So she made an uneasy vow: she would keep one line uncrossed. She wouldn't kill. She wouldn't go to prison again. And she would try, in her own way, to bring light to the truth, even if it meant exposing her own pain. Steffi, sensing the tides of public perception shifting, made a counterattack. She called a press conference. She spoke in trembling but clear tones. "Luna has been through things I cannot imagine," she said. "We all have regrets. But the way in which hurt is addressed must respect the rights and safety of everyone." She claimed Luna's actions were threatening. She assured everyone she would cooperate with law enforcement. She portrayed herself as the wronged one. The crowd murmured. Some believed, others wondered. Finn stood beside her, uncertain whether to look at Luna as a monster or as someone he once loved. He called for peace, for truth. He said that betrayal hurts both sides. But to many, it sounded like excuses. Luna watched the press coverage from her motel. She sipped bitter coffee. She read the social media posts. Some people called her a villain. Some people expressed sympathy. Some people said Steffi was right to defend herself. It felt like a mirror cracked, reflections everywhere, none whole. Still, Luna believed deeply in one thing: pain deserved acknowledgement. She wanted those who had put her away, hidden her away, made her doubt herself, to see what they had done. Not for vengeance alone, but for her own sense of being seen. One night, after weeks of traveling, hiding, planning, Luna made her way back to the city. She had found a small apartment under an alias, one that looked nothing like her old digs. She changed her appearance slightly, hair a bit longer, clothes more subdued. Someone on social media had posted a blurry photo of a woman who looked like her, but not quite. Luna smiled. She was both recognized and anonymous. A paradox she now cherished. She called someone from her old life, someone she believed had betrayed her but also had knowledge she needed. The call was short. She didn't say, "I forgive you." She didn't say, "I hate you." She said, "I know what you did. I know what you hid." And then she hung up. That person's breath on the line had trembled. Luna felt something. The power of being able to speak, of being heard. In the weeks that followed, more revelations came. Photographs, recordings, old messages, some uncovered by Luna's own research, others given by whomever feared her wrath. It turned out that some of Luna's beliefs about Steffi's role had been exaggerated, that Finn had known more than he said, that others in the shadows had manipulated both Luna and Steffi, using jealousy, fear, ambition like puppeteers. Luna felt a mix of satisfaction and disillusionment. She had been right about betrayal, there was betrayal everywhere, but she had been partially wrong about its sources. That confused her, because revenge demands clarity, but the world gives nothing so neat. Still, she used the new information. She prepared them as tools, not to hurt blindly, but strategically.